Hey everyone, we're here with Ryan and Chris from Valley of the Sun. If you don't know them, you should fucking check them out. Their last album, Quintessence, came out is it August of 24? Is that right?
Yeah,
That's right.
I got
Nailed it.
something right. Yeah, all right. So guys, I know you guys have busy schedules, so I greatly appreciate you taking time to come hang out and chat with little old me.
yeah, no problem.
Oh, no, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. So you guys, obviously I saw you at Planet Desert Rock weekend, which was I it's hard to say like any band had like an amazing set because like I feel every band had a fucking amazing set. I was personally like blown away, but you guys I was really looking forward to you and your set like exceeded my expectations. So I
Good.
greatly appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And that wasn't the first time you guys played Planet Desert Rock Weekend, was it?
And we did the first one in 2018. It was
Shit.
18, right? It was Chris's first show with the band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first, Planet Desert Rock, which I didn't realize until this last one when we were there. Someone kind of made me realize that was the first one.
That's freaking cool. Like, what a, yeah, almost like a full circle moment. You know what I mean?
It really
Right.
was. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
So, Chris, how did you come to be with Valley of the Sun?
So Ryan and I met through not music at all. We had a mutual friend that was getting married, and that's how we met. So it's like, you play music, I play music. And so he asked me, you play organ? I said, yeah. And he said, do you have a passport? And I said, yeah. So I joined the band.
I don't even know if you can play, but you say you can. Let's do this. All right.
I had heard a lot of good I had heard a lot of good things, and I wanted him to come on to play organ and was gonna I think still try to hunt down, and I specifically wanted an organ player, and then I found out that he played bass too, and I was like, well, you're on bass now. But he does the organ on the records, so we just decided it's you know not all of our music calls for organ, and so it's kind of silly to have a dedicated organ player at live shows.
Over there
So
dancing and shit. Like, what are you doing? Like, I
yeah,
don't have anything to play. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I would.
right. I mean, every additional member of the band is brings significant more expense to tour, by way of airfare and hotel rooms, and one more person you got to pay and feed and everything else. So you know
Yeah.
we,
So
we
it's
don't
got to be.
want to we don't want a nine-piece band. It wouldn't work. You know.
I mean,
So
it might if you guys
yeah,
like hit that like Slipknot level, right?
right, right,
Like then out of the nine members, you guys would each be making 40 or 50,000 a year. Like it'd be cool.
right.
Like, like yeah. So how does I know you guys are kind of like the international band. How does like writing and recording work for you? Is everything or most of it done like
In a
virtually?
world.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I live in Cincinnati.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and like we all live in Cincinnati. My wife is German and lives here in Germany. And I'm here a lot. So like I'm here visiting. Like we've been doing a long distance relationship for 2.5 years. And so I come here whenever I can. She joins us on tour a lot when we tour in Europe. Uh, and yeah, I'm just back and forth. I mean, Chris is also quite the globetrotter. So I mean, we all at every opportunity we're traveling, whether or not it's tour, or just vacation. And then also I encourage the guys, and Chris has really done it a lot, to like attach vacations to a tour because we're already in Europe or wherever on the band's dime. So it's like you may as well just stay longer and go
Yeah.
see the sights, because often we don't have time on tour. Every once in a while we get lucky and have a tour where we have some off days and we can actually go sightseeing and stuff, but many of our tours are pretty breakneck pace, and we don't really get a chance to see anything. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand that about like touring. Like there's not a lot of off days. And on those off days, it's like, okay, let's like do laundry or,
Yeah.
catch up on these things. It's not a lot of sightseeing, you know?
The best possible off day you can have on a hard tour is one where everyone has their own hotel room, and we usually all just like sleep all day. And yeah, it's incredibly boring and not at all what people think like the rock and roll lifestyle is like. Yeah.
That's funny. Like we just,
Yeah.
yeah, our off day, we fucking sleep. All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
We
you
did
need
nothing.
to. It's it's pretty hard on your body, like the hours that we keep and all of the driving and all of the partying and when we are at the shows and wherever the after party stuff, and so it's definitely good to get those days where you just chill out. So
For sure.
yeah,
You need a sober day once in a while, right?
yeah, we try.
Yeah. So, how has the reception to like Quintessence been since its release?
Well, it's been
I've been so happy about it.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's been really good. Um, I mean, we released this one independently. It's the first record that isn't tied to a label that we've done since 2011. And so we're like in full control of everything, which means like a lot of work on the shipping end of things because like I actually when I came here 2 weeks ago, I brought about 50 albums over in my luggage to ship from Germany because it's a lot cheaper
Cheaper.
to
Yeah.
ship. Like so I pass that savings on to our fans, like so that I'm not like to ship something from the States to Europe, it costs like 20 or $25. And like inside of the EU it's like $10. So um yeah, I try to just do that just to cut down on the cost of that for everybody. But yeah, we're totally hands on with all of it now. And um our Spotify plays are still really solid, and like we have, you know, people turning up at the shows, and yeah, I think I was really concerned with Old Gods, like after Old Gods, because like we felt that that was such a great record, and our fans really like were kind of crazy about that album, and it was like, how do we follow this? Like I was, really worried about being able to put something out that like could stand up to that. But I think we pulled it off. Um, and I've heard the same from our fans as well. So yeah.
That's good. Like, so I
I've
went back.
also
Oh,
heard
God's is,
oh,
sorry,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Nope, you.
I just heard uh, sort of like a return to form for us, and I
Right.
really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, now, Oh Gods was the 22 album, right?
Oh Gods was 19. So actually we had the Chariot after that. But
Oh, that's right.
yeah. But like Old Gods was set up more as a three-piece format, and this one is a three-piece format. So
Right.
and yeah, it was just yeah, I mean like trying to keep that momentum going, like since that one, like really has been a challenge. So that's like the candle that I like hold everything to, as far as like is this that good? Um, but yeah,
So do you feel like it's that good?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's different, and it's like, yeah. I mean, it's like Chris said, a return to form in a lot of ways. I think that I don't know, like, you know, we really like the riff, but we also like to get into subtlety and, some touches of psychedelia with things, and like to not like be completely beholden to one sound.
Right.
And and you can hear that on the records, like they're they're all like all over the place, but I think they still all like have like something that is unique to us. Um, I don't know if
which
that's
I
like our tones or my voice or whatever, but
well, I think that's, it's hard to do with like as a band is to like change something and still have that like that constant thing, right? So if we look at other bands that have done that, like Deftones is, ranks really high because each album has a very different sound, but
right.
every album is like that is 100% Deftones, and I noticed that with you
Yeah.
all too.
Oh,
You know,
great.
Right.
Thanks
just
for saying that.
just listening to the differences between Old Gods and The Chariot and Quintessence, like which are the only three albums that I've listened to, admittedly, right? But they're all I think they're all great pieces of work. And at the end of the day, it's all Valley of the Sun.
Right. Yeah. I think there's like unique kind of influences and just like sign of the times kind of things that go in with every record too. Uh, I mean, Chris and I have been, writing together since Old Gods, and like we're pretty collaborative, and I think like actually the Chris had probably the biggest influence on this latest one on Quintessence. Like he wrote a lot of the riffs, and
Right on.
like but yeah, I think we've like honed a sound, but yeah, it's not like well, we don't really go into it like, oh, it has to sound like this. It's more that, but there seems to be like a particular mood that comes out, and it's both from the things that we're writing like in the moment for those albums, and then also like we're always like going back into our catalog of things that we've written over the years and like picking out things that would never got used and like either using them in part or in whole or just kind of being inspired by them. And even when it comes to that, it's like only the ones that are kind of fitting the mood of what's been going on in that songwriting process are the ones that I think make the cut, you know. So
It's cool that you have like um, that catalog of like old riffs or progressions or whatever it is to
yeah,
go back and listen to, because I think a lot of artists they do that, and then there comes like a time where they're like, oh shit, we lost it from flooding. Well, now with the digital age it's not so much, but back in the 80s and 90s everything was, you did it to tape. So
right.
any a house fire or a storm or whatever and you lost everything. So
Yeah.
I think it's nice to have the ability to do like cloud storage now and keep access to all that shit. Also,
Well, I actually have most of it on a like 2005 Power Mac, like like desktop, that
Hey,
still
we keep it
works.
old school.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
and it's not online, so none of that stuff is in the cloud. It's on three separate hard drives, uh, and like there's backups, but it's all like very old tech, like stuff that I've been using for years and years. It's just like a glorified digital four track, basically. Um, and I like have to. I mean, I spend night after night sometimes just sifting through old files, like trying to like figure out what the hell I even have because
Yeah,
like I've lost track of so much of it and I'm really disorganized on the computer. So
just like an artist.
yeah, but we do. I mean, like like I mean, we have a whiteboard in the band space, and it's always like we're either doing what a lot of bands do, where we're kind of sectioning out a song and like figuring out, okay, we play the verse here and the chorus here and blah blah blah, and there's the bridge, and but then we also keep track of like which files are worth a shit, and it's like there's this one riff, and let's maybe do something with that, and blah blah, and then just random jamming. It's been insanely cold in Cincinnati for months, and our rehearsal space is in like an unheated warehouse.
That sucks.
So we haven't had a lot of jam sessions lately. We've been really kind of not. It's not been too fun to be in
Yeah,
there.
no, it's
So
fucking snowing and cold right now in
yeah.
Louisville. So I
Oh, you're in
assume it's
Louisville.
the
Okay.
same. Yeah, I assume it's the same in Cincinnati right
It's
now.
Oh
the
Like,
yeah.
what?
same. Yeah.
Why are we getting so much fucking snow this year? Holy
What's
shit!
What's crazy is like I'm not incredibly far from the Arctic Circle at this point, because I'm in like the far north of Germany, like near the border with Denmark, and I think it's been warmer here
Yeah.
the last week than it has been in Cincinnati. So yeah.
Well, like when we went out to Vegas, my buddy Reagan and I was like, oh, dude, I'm really looking forward to having some warmer days out there. Like, not a big difference, but I'll take, the 60s over like what we're dealing with.
Oh
And we
yeah.
get out there and we look back and I'm like, how is it 70 degrees at fucking home and it's
Yeah.
60 here? Like,
Yep.
you son of a bitch.
It was still nice. It was nice being out there. We had a good time. So
Yeah. Well, I think everyone had a good time. And that was my first Planet Desert Rock event.
Okay.
So, to go out and to see not only the bands but like the brotherhood around the event was
Yes.
really, really fucking cool. Like everyone's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you since, Ripple Fest," and man, you
Yeah.
remember this band? Like everyone's like hugging like that. So that was really
Yeah, that
fucking
was
cool.
something that Ryan and I even talked about on the side, just to ourselves. Like, this is so cool, just watching it happen in front of us. Yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
saw a lot of old friends. I mean, like when we had the opportunity, we were given the opportunity to play that. We the original plan was just to fly out and do it, and just to spend the weekend in Vegas and spend the weekend at the festival. And then we tried to like book a little tour out there and back, and like couldn't really get the number of shows that we wanted to like make it worth the drive and all the time off work and everything. So in the end of the day, we just went with the original plan and flew out and spent like 4 days, 3 nights, and or 4 nights. We did 4 nights there. 5 days,
Yeah.
4 nights. And so yeah, we saw the bulk of the festival, and I mean we went there every night, and uh hung out and slept late because we were definitely partying pretty hard because
Yeah.
Vegas. So
Good
I did
times.
not have the luxury of like sleeping late. I'm a
Yeah.
I, my clock is like when I'm at home 5 a.m. I'm like, okay, time to get up. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I'm out there like with staying up till 1, 2 in the morning, and then literally 2 hours later, like getting up. Okay, shit, I can't go back to sleep. This fucking sucks.
yeah,
Yeah,
audiobooks, man.
dude, they don't help me sleep. They
Uh,
like they keep my mind going.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Like I have to. I've got It's so weird. I'm so ritualistic when it comes to like going to bed. I've got a mask that goes on with headphones and I play like white noise to help with the ringing in my
Oh
ears.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Because if not, it fucking keeps me up all night. So
yeah.
about 30 minutes of that, I'm like, all right, this is great. And then, a couple hours later, I'm like, all right, time to start my day, I guess. Whatever.
I've gotten used to the ringing. I think there's a lot of things that I can't hear too. I was out here yesterday morning with my wife, and she's like, "Oh, the birds are out. Don't you hear them?" And I was like, "No." Like just sounded like dead silence to me, and she insisted that there
Yeah,
were like lots of very loud birds out, and I'm like, that must be in some frequency range that's I don't know, maybe like a crash cymbal range
right.
Perhaps.
that's
Yeah.
just gone for me. Yeah.
It's so funny. My good buddy of mine, his wife is an audiologist, and I'm like, hey, dude, like, I'm
Oh,
gonna
cool.
come to Michigan, make a fucking appointment with your wife just so like she can look at my ears and help me get rid of this fucking ringing because it is like right now, it's really fucking bad, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh well, it's part of getting old or whatever.
Right.
Uh, so doing Quintessence, DIY, obviously you guys handling the shipping and all of that. How much work has like shifted to you guys in that like scenario?
Um,
Well, in loose terms, all of it has shifted over. But I think we've been pretty good about staying on top of it, though.
yeah. I mean, we had
Um,
a hang up because our original pressing of the record, like we paid like many thousands of dollars to have it pressed, and then that company declared bankruptcy and like tried to basically screw us out of all that money. So like we just got the copies. We were supposed to have physicals in hand on October 4th for our European tour, and we just got the copies in January, right? Like late January, and right before I came here. So we did a big like US and Canada shipment right before I left for this trip, and then I brought a bunch over, and I still have like 10 more shipments to do, like right now, just to fulfill all of our pre-order stuff and everything, which people made as far back as last April.
Wow.
So yeah,
yeah,
like the whole thing got hung up pretty bad. We did get our money back though. Like really, like luckily, we Chris filed a chargeback with his bank like as soon as all that shit went down, and they said, oh, it's going to be like a 90-day
Investigation.
investigating kind of thing. And we kind of just assumed that it wasn't going to happen because we did a wire transfer via, sorry, versus like a credit card thing, but we got it back.
Oh,
So yeah, and like which made me really happy too because when all that shit went down, a lot of people were saying you guys should do a GoFundMe to cover this, and we said no, we really this isn't our fans' problem. We'll handle this, like we'll figure it out. And I'm really glad now that we didn't, because if we did, then I would, be feeling the need to like repay everyone that had done
right.
that. And then that would have just been another mountain of work, So, yeah.
It sucks to be
Um,
in that position where you're like, okay, I have to balance. Like, yeah, it sucks to
yeah,
like lose the money, but like we need to handle it ourselves and not pass this on to the fans who have probably the majority have already pre-ordered the
right.
exactly.
album,
And they're
you
paying a
know?
shitload for shipping and like everything else, like they're already going above and beyond. Like we don't need to, like we're okay. Like we can manage some shit like that once in a while. It'd be another thing if like our entire van was stolen with all of our gear in it,
Oh yeah.
you know. But yeah, this one it got managed. So and now the record's out, and we have CDs and vinyl for days. We got tons of them. So yeah, we're good to go.
Who did you guys use to press it the second time?
It's called Precision Record Pressing out of Canada.
Okay.
So and they were like blindingly fast. Like they were incredibly fast. They had really, really great communication. They had a team of like 10 people that I was talking to. I got a little confused about who I was dealing with at what time, but they were like wicked fast. I think that they delivered to us like 3 weeks earlier than their estimated date.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
Like, I mean, they blew it out of the water. And yeah, and the quality's good, and it's a good price point. And so yeah. That's still kind of, we have a little bit of a learning curve there because we haven't really done a lot of like managing all like that end of our releases in quite a long time,
Sure.
you know. So
Yeah, well, I mean, do you guys have, I mean, throughout, I'd say the vast majority of your career been associated with a label of some sort,
yeah,
so to
right.
take that on yourself, is like if you've not really done it on, especially, at the level you guys are at, you don't really know what you're getting into. So,
right,
holy
Yeah,
shit.
and we say that we're doing this all ourselves, but like, of course, would not be possible without the help of some of the people that have been around us. So like, you know, Sound of Liberation and Demetrius, Satellite Booking, like they've just been so helpful to us putting stuff together. So
yeah. I mean, I think we do the bulk of our merch sales on tour anyway, so
Yeah.
it's really just like getting this shit to wherever it needs to go. Like we actually have some good friends like in Munster, Germany, Anka and Wilfred, who uh like are storing our backline for us now. And prior to that, it was at the home of our at the mother's home
Yeah.
of the mother of our old booking agent Arnaud in Paris. So and he owned it at the time, and we bought all that gear off of him and moved it to Munster. So now like we have gear in Munster
Got out of
and
mom's
like
basement. Yeah.
yeah, and then we have, you know, a delivery address there in Munster that we can have records sent to, and then here in Flensburg, you know, we're able to get stuff shipped. So, like we've kind of just like through happenstance, through like the relationships that we have with people in Europe, have kind of created a network where it's even possible for us to like, you know, have backstock in Germany,
Yeah.
right? Like we don't have to bring everything over from America every time we fly, you know. So that's been helpful. And then like Fuzzorama, who we did 4 albums with, um, like they're, you know, not so far from here in Sweden. And when we need things, I just have them ship them here or to Munster, or sometimes to Paris. And like I mean, we played what was the festival in Hamburg, Chris? Um, Lazy
Lazy
Bones.
Bones.
We played Lazy Bones Festival toward the end of our last tour in Europe, and Truck Fighters, who owns Fuzzorama, was playing, and we still had a few more weeks to go on tour. And I just hit them up and said, "Hey, we're out of records. Can you bring some?" And so when they came down to play the show, they just brought more records for us. So you know, there's some conveniences that we have like that that I think maybe a lot of bands don't have. You know, it's like just shit that we're able to take advantage of, and
Well,
you know,
it's you know, it's time and relationships, right? Which
right,
is um where I think most bands, alleviate some of those pressures is you make the right relationships, and maybe it's not necessarily a band, but a fan met in a city that you just become really good friends with. Like, hey, do you mind if we ship shit to you? Yeah, cool, man. Like, I've got empty
Yeah.
space in my garage or whatever that looks like. And I think every band I talk to in some way talks about how important the fan is, and it's not even just buying that physical media or that t-shirt, right?
right,
It's the support they provide when you're out on the road.
right. Yeah, I'm not really too concerned with selling stuff to people. I mean, like it's nice. It's a necessary evil because like you know we have to buy gas
Yeah.
and like plane tickets and shit. You know, but you know, at the end of the day, like that's not like really. I, I my greatest concern is just having bodies at the show. I just want people at our shows so that our shows are a good time and so that both we and our fans have like the best experience possible. You know, it's all experiential. You know, that's
Hell yeah.
really so.
That's
Yeah,
what I try to tell my kids. Go to a show, enjoy the band, have a good time, whether it's two people there, 2,000, 200,000. Just go, be aware of your surroundings, and enjoy the fucking music.
Yeah. And I
yep,
still think that's the best way to support a band. Like just go see them. Go buy a ticket to their show and go see them.
Yeah. Buy buy a t-shirt from them at their show or
Exactly.
whatever
Yeah.
merch they have.
right.
So when
Yeah,
are
it's
we gonna get
definitely.
some more fucking shows from you guys at home?
Um, we're working on something in late spring, early summer, like late spring, I guess technically. There's a number of like possibilities on the table right now for like tours for us to attach to, but nothing's set yet. I actually have to talk to our US agent and just kind of touch base and see what's going on with that. If we do get on one of those tours, it'll be in May, you know, like May to early June. And if we don't, then we're going to try to just book some like regional weekends and stuff in the States before we go back to Europe in June.
Cool.
Like late June, we go back to Europe. And like what it's our intention to be extremely busy this year, but you know, we can't just like snap our fingers and make that happen. Like there's a lot of other people involved
A lot of
that we need.
pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're pretty dependent on our booking agencies to do stuff. And, and then a lot of it's just like luck, like if you manage to score like the right tour. And but it's been pretty good the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I was really blown away when we found out you guys were from Cincinnati. I'm like, how the fuck? Like, what?
right. We never
I
played
don't.
there.
I know.
Yeah. We
I
never played
know.
Louisville either.
I know. So we need to change that.
Yeah.
We got, of course, Louisville, Lexington, Cincinnati, whatever, dude.
Right.
Like we that little
Yeah.
circle is so close to each other. It doesn't matter where you play, we'll be there.
What do you guys got down there? Is it the Green Lantern? Or
So
is that in Lexington?
Lexington's the Green Lantern and Owls. So do you guys know the
Okay.
band Crop?
Uh-uh.
No, I don't think
So
so.
Crop are like they're in the stoner like doom vein and uh have been like I don't know, not been together too long, 4 or 5 years, and are really like making a name for themselves. So the bass
Okay.
player Braun books at Al's Bar in
Okay.
Lexington. And then Louisville, we've got Mag Bar and Portal and probably like Zanzibar and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been down there in a while. So, I mean, even in like the Cincinnati area, like our preference is to play Dayton, Ohio. Uh, so
Okay.
like, yeah, Blind Bob's in Dayton. It's just like a little rock and roll bar with like a shitload of good beer on tap and like, I don't know, what, 5 dozen top shelf whiskeys and a really, really great menu and really great staff. And it's just always a good time. It's just it's usually packed out for rock shows. I think they just have a stronger scene
Sure.
in Dayton, even though it's a small town. Um, so it's just more fun, you
Yeah.
know?
Last show I was at in Dayton was at this place called the Hidden Gem.
Yeah,
It's this
sounds familiar.
like I don't know, it's like a maybe a jazz club or something
Okay,
that will do like rock shows once in a while, and it's like if someone was going with me, and I'm like, hey, just be aware, like it's gonna look like we're driving like where the dumpsters are, and we're not. We're actually going to a venue, and we pull up and pass the dumpsters, and there's the venue. He's like,
right.
no, you weren't lying. Nah, not at all, dude.
So it's aptly named.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a good time. So there's a Cincinnati-based band, Blessed Black,
Uh-huh.
who I absolutely fucking love. Those dudes are
Yeah.
just super good dudes. And Murphy puts on shows at the Hidden Gem. So I was like, I'm there.
Okay.
Right on.
Yeah. So, well, if you guys need assistance booking Lexington or Louisville, just like let me know. I'll happily help
Awesome.
out any way I can.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're going to be doing something coming up. Whether or not our agent does it for us, it's yet to be determined. Like he lets us go off on our own when we need to. Like last summer we did 6 weeks with was it 6 weeks? 6 weeks with Heavy Temple, and we
Maybe
wanted to
7,
do
yeah.
more. And I asked our agent. I said, and we went. I mean, it was pretty much around like the perimeter of the continental U.S. I mean, it was like from Boston to the Pacific Northwest, down the coast, back across through Texas to Florida, and then back up the coast. And then that was the end of the tour. And we didn't hit like kind of the center, like the heartland at all. And I asked our agent, like, do you mind if I just book 2 more weeks? So you don't have to mess with it. And he's like, yeah, go for it. So, and I just called around and like posted something on Facebook about it. And we managed to like book 2 more weeks of great shows in like the Carolinas and Tennessee, Oklahoma, Kansas. Um, and like, yeah, just did a 2 week extension on it and just independently.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, it turned out really, really good. Made a lot of good friends too during that part of the tour. So
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
feel like those areas are often missed in those in larger tours. You know, they really focus on like the major cities. So like
Right.
Louisville
We
gets
don't,
missed a lot.
yeah. I think like we don't get to the Carolinas as much as I would like to. Like it's periodic, you know, whereas like we've had a couple times where we've been going like toward Texas, like
Mhm.
kind of in that general area. So like Tennessee like gets it more, like, you know, than like the Carolinas do. Like West Virginia, we barely ever touch, you know. So I mean, I'd love to. Like our goal really is to be on the road like, you know, 9 months a year. That's what we would like to do. It's just, you know, kind of the world's not really big enough
Yes, it
for
is.
that, you know.
It
Yeah.
absolutely is.
Well, we don't have any agents in like Brazil, or I'd be there, you
Or
know,
Japan.
Let me, I'm gonna make a call.
or Japan.
Make a
Yeah.
couple calls. Yeah. Thanks,
I
Tom.
will. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I know someone like in Brazil. I for sure know people in Japan.
All
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
connect you. I
Get the
want you
ball
guys to
rolling. Yeah.
fucking play more too. Like shit.
It looks like I just got word that, you know, I've been asking for it for a couple of years from our agencies, but like it looks like we are going to be getting into Eastern Europe and Greece again this year. So I don't know if I'm
Right on.
supposed to say that, but like I don't care. It's yeah, like I've been wanting to go to the East again for a long time. Eastern Europe is like another world. It's beautiful and you know, mysterious and kind of everything. And the food's amazing, and the people are really interesting. And then Greece is like just incredible, like kind of all around.
That's
So
my wife's like bucket list trip is Greece. And I said, all right, like for our anniversary next year in 26, I said, we'll go. And she said, really?
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, you let me do so much shit and go wherever the hell I want to go. Like I will
yeah,
happily take you to Greece,
yeah,
you know, like let's do it.
yeah. It's rad. I mean, it's relatively inexpensive, and the food is great, and like all of the people are beautiful, and the weather's awesome, and you know, it's just everything about it is like I love it there.
And I've got
So
1,000 mods who I fucking love.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah, I think those guys are from, well, they're not from Athens, they're from like the burbs, right?
yeah,
Their
yeah, I
name
don't,
is like something to do with, they told us the story.
Yeah, I
'Cause
can't remember now.
we toured with them a couple of years ago.
oh, right
And
on.
yeah, we did a US like 2 weeks in the US with them. Uh yeah.
I like how they did it. You know, they do the band and then start their label and, you know, kind of done the DIY thing. I think I like that you guys are are self-releasing because there's a place for labels. You know, they're not all the big evil whatever,
Right, right.
Mhm.
but you know, I think for bands, especially at this level, doing the DIY thing is it's monetarily more beneficial to take on a little bit more of the work and you know actually like push it through. It helps the band. I think it helps the band push to that next level.
Yeah. I mean our US agent kind of said it, he put it in a nutshell for me the other day because we were talking about that. Just that like we're in this really weird and kind of awkward. It's like we're like the 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 teenage boy with their voice cracking kind of situation, like where we are and like our love, like our growth, like in the industry, where we're too big for a lot of things, and then we're too small for a lot of things, and we're like in this really weird middle ground. And like right now, there's not like we don't see a lot of benefit of being on a record label um, because we already have a fan base that's like pretty devoted. Um, so we know that we can sell records and we know we can, you know, sell out clubs and stuff. But then, you know, but it's not like the labels that are interested in us aren't really, you know, offering us any more than what we already have.
Right.
Right. Like they're not they're not saying like, oh, we're going to get you on these huge tours, or like, we're going to like get you all this money or give you these advances and pay for your studio time and blah blah blah. That's not there. So we're still getting like kind of the small time, deals from the labels. And it's just, and we're doing well enough on our own that we don't need that. We don't need that capital from them. We don't need the distribution from them. Um, and they often will put money into things that we don't always like really think is a good use of the money, because anything that they spend money on like comes off the bottom line, like it
They
like,
got to
so if they,
recoup.
yeah, I mean, if they decide that they want to like spend $2,000 on magazine ads, yeah, that goes into that, and then that eventually, it comes out of, at least a portion of it comes out of our pockets at the end
Yep.
of the day, even though we've had no like choice in the matter. We've had no say in whether or not they spend that money. Whereas, like, I personally think that print is like a completely dead medium and, kind of useless. I mean, yeah, sure, people still like buy Metal Hammer or whatever, but it doesn't feel targeted to me the way that like digital stuff can be, you
Well,
know?
it's because it's not, and that's I think that's a lot of the issue that bands have historically had with labels is I kind of look at labels like our government, right? Like they serve a purpose, but that purpose doesn't always serve the people that they're there for.
Right.
There's so much wasteful spending, and it's on, both sides of the fence. I don't care if you're on an independent label or a major label, they're all doing the same thing. They all have the
Right.
spending that we look at and go, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot more bands are starting to see that and understand, like, hold on, like you just said, hey, like we're getting no extra benefit from being on a label, so we'll just do it ourselves. That's, I Hate God has done the same thing. Like they got burned. I don't remember, maybe by Century or Napalm or someone. One of the labels got them, and they were like, "Cool, fuck you guys, right? Like we're gonna pay and own everything, and if you want to
Hmm.
release it, cool, we'll license it to you, but we own it and we have the final say on what that looks like." You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
I just think it's a better avenue for a band because you get to hold the control of how everything is managed around you.
But, and like, even like the financial end of it aside, like, um, Quintessence is the first like actual like professional release that the band has done that we like completely own the intellectual property rights to. And like for me personally, I started the band in 2010, and like to have all these LPs under our belts and to not own any of the music that I wrote,
Yeah.
you know. Um, I mean, technically, I own a portion of the first EP, Sayings of the Seers, but I split that with the original drummer, and like as part of our deal of like kind of separating, like he's taken a lot of that, and just like as like kind of a severance kind of situation. So yeah, so like Quintessence is the first one that is just like outright just like ours. Like, and you know, forget about what that means on any monetary level. It's just like nice to be like, no one else can do anything with this. Like,
Yeah.
we own like 100% of the licenses, and like we can do what we want with it. And it's just refreshing to finally to finally not be under anybody's boot heel, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's funny. You're like 15 years in and finally, like I own it all,
yeah,
at least for this one.
yeah.
I assume that those like the ownerships of the other things have like a time limit or a monetary threshold where you get it back.
They do, but like some of them are not that great. The Chariot has a pretty short one. But like, it's 10 years down the road, is there going to be a need for me to exercise that license? Like, do I
Yes.
need, like, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
But
Like,
there will be. That's
well,
I mean, look at what in the last let's even say the last 5 years, one of the biggest things that I've seen is bands coming out and going, "Hey, it's the 10-year anniversary or the
right.
20-year anniversary," and they're reissuing you know this specific colored vinyl, whatever that is, right,
Yeah,
for this, and we're only doing X amount of copies. So yes, you already have a fan base that loves you. So
right.
at the 10 or 20-year, anniversaries, fuck yeah, do it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have to sell the copies we have first. I mean, I'll tell you, Fuzzorama printed a lot of some of that stuff, but I think like a lot of it's kind of getting down to the bone. We are starting to run out of things, like pretty significantly. So yeah, we'll see what comes. Like we're planning on doing a reissue again soon. So um, yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
So we'll
Yeah,
talk about that. Yeah.
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 So
Well,
uh,
yeah, I mean that's cool. It's a cool space to be in, especially like, I think a lot of times when you start a band, you don't think, well, what are we going to do in 15 or 20 years down the road? It's like, let's drink some beers and play some shows.
Right.
yeah.
You want it to be about that as much as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. 20 years later, you're like, holy shit, how did we get here? Oh, okay.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I like, I really got into all this stuff in like '05. Well, even earlier. Like, I mean, I think I started listening to like Queens of the Stone Age in like '99 or something. And but I remember like 2005 when I really started playing like this style of music with my old band Blacklight Barbarian. Um, like at the time, like, Truck Fighters and like Color Haze were my biggest influences. And then I ended up being on Truck Fighters record label and like touring with those guys and blah, blah, blah. And like, if, the me from back then could like look down the road and see what was going to wind up happening, he'd like shit his pants, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, that's been pretty cool.
That's, I think it's always cool. I think that's one of the things that I'm always drawn to, like, music is, I used to play, but I never really had the balls to like go all in on it. And I feel like, there are, I'd say out of 100 bands, there are like one or two that are going to go all in on it,
Right.
so like, good for you guys for getting out there and doing the thing and learning the probably really hard fucking lessons on dealing with some of the business
There's
side
been
of
a
this
few of those.
bullshit. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I
uh,
mean, Chris and I like, I mean, have been together through, a series of drummers and well, two drummers and then another guitarist, have come and gone. And like, uh, but he and I like share in common just like a love of touring and travel and just like the experience of it all. And, I think we both would rather be doing that than anything else. So
hell yeah.
yeah,
Then you guys are doing the right fucking thing.
Brian.
So out of like the years of touring and the places you've been, is there a place each of you, like, when you go on tour, you're like, man, I like, whether we hit it on tour or when we get off, I want to make sure to go spend some time there. Like, what place would that be for you guys?
Yeah, what's that for you, Ryan?
Well, when we went to Vancouver, I wanted to go back there and actually have a holiday there. So
Okay.
I've never hung out there.
Yeah, that was really pretty by the
Yeah.
water.
I liked the downtown area. It's like incredibly diverse culture there in Vancouver. And lots of amazing street food and it's just a really interesting city as far as for a North American city, you know.
That's where they shot Kung Fu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right on. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we've done a pretty good job of spending time in the places that we want to spend time in. I mean, I think we always want to. I would always love to vacation more in Spain, uh,
Oh yeah.
and uh, and I actually prefer vacationing in Italy over playing in Italy. So playing in Italy can be pretty rough, but vacationing there is pretty amazing. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I think for me it's uh Ryan brought up our friends in Munster, Germany, and
Yeah,
at this point for me, that's really like I know that if I lived there, I would hang out at this place, Rare Guitar, that we always play when we go there. And I don't know, it's like they're my like cousins over there or something now. Like
all right.
I just immediately feel at home as soon as I get there. Hugs all around, and you know. So
Yeah,
That's
that's actually kind of our starting point now. It was Paris, you know, at mom's basement to get all our gear, but it's in Munster now. So
yeah. Munster is definitely our home away from home as far as
yeah,
like the places that we tour. I mean, like, so our friends Anka and Wilfred who live there and who have our gear now, and like, um, like my wife and I have just gone down there just to hang out with them. Like, like we have a friendship on that level. It's not just like, oh, we're in town to play a show, let's hang out. Like we actually,
that's cool.
and Chris has hung out with them outside of band business as well.
yeah, we did a
Um,
little Spanish excursion. Yeah.
yeah. So
That
yeah,
that's the cool thing about going on the road is you meet these people who the initial thought is you're going to be in a show, we'll have a drink, cool, and that relationship, exceeds, you become friends and start, hey, let's fucking go here and do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
yeah,
it's it's cool to meet those people and to have those relationships and experiences around the world.
absolutely. We've got a lot of it now. I definitely have more friends in Europe than I do in the States at this point. So
Yes. It's okay.
yeah,
I think a lot of us in the States are assholes, so whatever. It's part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I would
do you,
disagree, but yeah,
well, I think that there are a lot of assholes everywhere. Um, maybe
I
I've
think
got
it's funny. The common question we get from Europeans is, "So what's with you guys and guns? Like, why are you so crazy about having guns?"
yeah,
not
freedom.
all of us.
Yeah,
It's it's definitely different though. I mean the what is I'm sure what's portrayed outside of the States versus what happens like within the States, or how what our perception of what happens in the States is they're very different worlds.
Yeah, it is very
it
interesting.
You
goes
know
both ways too.
100%.
Yeah, like most Americans don't have the slightest clue of what Europe is actually like. You know, um, particularly like some of the Western nations. I mean, I, like Germany is like strikingly similar to the United States as
Yeah,
far as just I mean it, it's there's really not a lot separating us.
right.
Um, I mean language and some customs and stuff, but overall like the structure of the society and what people do just in their day to day and what they care about and blah blah blah. It's all the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dated a girl from Kaiserslautern for a few years, long time ago.
Huh.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it was funny, just like seeing just the differences. Whatever.
I basically just like I like to laugh at my wife's mispronunciations of things. But which is funny because she's fluent in English and I'm terrible at German, so I really can't talk, but I can't really give a shit about anything. But
She makes fun of you for your German pronunciations too. It's
oh yeah,
funny.
mine's it's awful. Yes.
They're sticklers
Uh,
about that stuff.
Yeah, they are.
That's good shit. So, are, are there like, is it uh, in Germany? Is it like that, like it is in the States, where like if they're from the north part, they have less of a southern accent, I'll say, like it is in the States.
Yeah.
It is,
There's
yeah, a lot like that.
and also different word usage. Like in the
Hmm.
north, like a greeting is moin. Like you say moin, right? And like that's only in the north. That's like from Hamburg north, basically. And like in the south, they don't say that shit. And then yeah, there's a lot of differences in dialect. And there's also like a lot of kind of like infighting, between like the different regions, like, like the Northerners don't like the Bavarians and blah blah blah. And
Just
there's
like the States.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cultural difference, and I mean this
Everyone
country
thinks
was
they have the
just
best beer in Germany.
oh yeah, yeah. Germans love to tell you about German beer, so and we're like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's very different than drinking in the States for sure.
Yeah, well, we
Oh
don't have
yeah.
the Bavarian purity law in the United States, so we're able to have a lot more variety in our beer. So
Ah,
yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah. The
That's
things
what
you
makes it
learn.
really funny for me because everyone says like, "Oh no, our beer is the best. Their beer is shit," but it all
Hmm.
kind of tastes really similar.
Like it's all the same. What the fuck is going
Yeah,
on here?
because there are only like three ingredients or whatever, you know.
You just have to. You just don't have a refined enough palate yet, Chris.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
it.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Why does it all taste like Budweiser? What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to talk about Germany a lot because, like, not only do I like live here half the time now, but also that's like probably the market that we play the most in Europe.
Mhm.
Actually, definitely is the market we play the most. Um, but yeah, had some really really wonderful experiences in Italy this year, and
Yeah.
France. France has been really really good to us lately. Like, I mean, France has always been great, but recently it's been like really amazing. Uh, so yeah, we've been doing good. We've been happy about everything
Hell yeah.
over here. So and
Yeah. Now we
tackling
got
the
to get
states
you
more.
guys. That's it. We've got to get you focused on the States more.
Well, we have been, I mean, we did 6 weeks last year, and I mean, we did a run that was with Heavy Temple. We did a tour with the Atomic Bitchwax a couple of years ago in the
Yeah.
States. We did 2 weeks with 1,000 Mobs. We
And
did a
Church
couple
of the
weeks with
Cosmic Skull.
Bellringer. Huh?
Church of the Cosmic Skull.
Yeah, the Church of the Cosmic Skull tour was wicked. Yeah, that was a really, really good one. Um,
Sweet.
yeah, we've been focusing on it more. We didn't for a long time. But yeah, now we do, and we're really trying to keep it going everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, if you got 9 months, if you guys want to be on the road for 9 months, you got a lot of time to fill up.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
How
yeah,
you got to play Antarctica once, just once.
right. So like five scientists and some
Yep.
penguins.
That
Yeah.
would be
Yeah,
awesome.
You'd be the second band ever to do that.
right.
What was it?
Yeah.
I think Metallica did that. They flew
Oh,
in.
did they?
Yeah, there's like some contest with, I don't know, a beer or a drink or someone, and they flew in 500 or 1,000 fans to Antarctica, and
Wow.
they had a fucking concert. Like
That's pretty metal.
Yeah.
that. I mean,
I'm
how
sure. I'm
many?
sure that did not break even
Oh, I'm sure it was
financially
a.
for them.
I'm sure they were way in the red,
Yeah, That's all publicity stunt right there.
100%. But what other
Yeah,
band can say they played all seven continents?
Exactly.
yeah. I'll tell you, I would love. I would. Unfortunately, it's not possible due to the state of things. But I would love to play Russia. I
Yeah.
would love it.
Yep.
Um,
You might get your chance.
well, it sucks that it's not really something that we can do right now. Um, you know, rock and roll should know no bounds.
Agreed.
Um, but Yeah, it is
Yeah,
what it is right now.
that's exactly it. Like there's nothing we can do to change it, so we just kind of
Right.
stick with it. I think that, if that's really one of your goals, I bet we can get you there.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Gotta wait for the right political climate for that one. Now is not the time.
Or chance it, like I
Nah.
think
I think being imprisoned for like 5 years as like a spy is not like on my to-do list at the
no,
moment. Yeah.
no.
So
I don't think that would be very fun, but you would have a lot of fucking whacked out material when you got out of prison. Could you could you imagine?
I mean, even if that was off the table and it was just like, and it was easy for us to go and like no problem, I would get lots of whacked out material from like I'm sure that maybe Chris would join us, but definitely John and I would wind up at some hole in the wall shooting whiskey with locals that don't have a word of English until
Or
dawn.
vodka. Yeah.
No, yeah, why I
Yeah.
say whiskey? Yeah, vodka, duh. Shooting vodka. Like that's what would happen. It would probably be really bad news. I'd probably die there, actually.
Now you'd have
So
your translation app out listening to these stories. And
Yeah, yeah.
this
there
one
was
time we
a
were in Mother Russia shooting vodka. Like, oh fuck.
when we were in Nantes, France, a few years back, for Hellfest. Actually, we were there to play Hellfest, and our old drummer, our old guitarist Josh and I decided to go out. We had a night free, and we were going to be playing Nantes later on that summer. And we were like, oh, let's go to that club that we're going to be playing in a couple months and check it out. So we took an Uber there, and it was closed. And we were just like, all right. And we just got out of the Uber and just said, okay, well, let's just walk back to the hotel from here. It wasn't crazy far, and we're like, well, let's just walk around, see what's going on. And we wound up in this like closet-sized hole in the wall bar with like 5 or 6 local French folk, all 50, 60 years old plus. None of them spoke any English. Josh and I get a table outside. We just sit outside by the curb, and these people came out and they waved us over and they pulled 2 tables together and had us sit down with them. And we sat there for hours drinking beer with these guys and like could not speak a word to each other, but still managed somehow to communicate and had a great time with them. It was like one of my favorite experiences ever in Europe.
That's
So
absolutely amazing.
yeah,
Like I wish more people would do things like that.
it was
Like
pretty rad.
some of those restaurants where you go in and you sit down and you just sit at this giant like picnic table and there's 4 families, everyone's sitting there eating. You
Yeah,
get to have those conversations,
yeah.
you like learn about other people and other cultures, and especially if they don't fucking speak in your language, you guys don't speak the same language. That's got to be
Hmm.
a lot of fun and really interesting because everyone's kind of like, I wonder what he's saying. Well, he's talking about,
Yeah.
found poop stains on his underwear or whatever. Like,
Yeah. Well, like the big table dinner kind of thing is a common thing in France. So we've had many shows in France where the venue provides dinner, and like we go to whatever room that's being held in, and it's the entire crew of the club, the bartenders, the promoter, whoever. So there'll be the bands and then a bunch of other folk, and we all just sit around at one table together, passing around carafes of wine and baguette, like passing the food around to each other, and you get into conversations that way. And I mean, I've had some really really beautiful experiences with that as well. Most recently, we just had that in Chambéry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
France.
Hmm. So
hell yeah.
at Le Brun de Zinc, really great club there in Chambéry.
Mhm.
Um,
That's pretty sweet.
I love it.
So What's the next tour for you guys?
Like I said, potentially some stuff in the States in the late spring. We're definitely going back to Europe in the summer. Probably some more US stuff in late summer, early fall, and then back to Europe in the fall.
Yeah, there's a particular festival in Texas that we've been trying to play for the last couple of years, and we've always been somewhere else. So we're trying to make that happen this year.
Yeah.
Is, is that Ripple Fest?
I don't know if is it? I don't know if yeah. Uh
Maybe, maybe not.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's one of those.
It's one of
Uh
those.
yeah, we already announced we're going to the UK. We have one festival announced there, Fest, in July. I think it's July 6th. We're playing that. And then we have one German fest right now. The name escapes me, but we'll be in both Western and Eastern Europe this year, I believe, and then also in the United States a good bit, and the UK. So we're gonna get around. I think it looks the way that it looks. We're gonna, you know, really wear out the passports and the van tires. So
As you should.
yeah. So
This is the
hopefully.
life. Yeah.
It's amazing and exhausting. It's wouldn't trade it for anything, but there definitely comes a point when there are those moments when you're just like, God damn, I wish I was just like at home in my bed right now, So,
Yep. Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
Yeah,
kind
even
of
Eh,
get
through last summer, just being so hot everywhere we went, but
yeah.
just some of those like long drives through the desert, I was still just thinking like, this is awesome. This is
Oh
so
yeah.
cool, you know?
Yeah. Oh, it was last summer with Heavy Temple was brutal. I mean, it was heat wave the whole time. It was like 100 in Boston and like Denver, Chicago's. They were all triple digits.
oh yeah.
Um, and
No rain.
yeah, and we were sleeping in the van a lot. And
Oh, that sucks.
yeah, I mean, we have it built out for that. It's quite comfortable when it's not like insanely hot. Uh,
Yeah.
Right.
but we got a fridge and a microwave in there and everything. We're good to go.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, but
Now you need a little portable like uh air conditioner. So like if it does get too hot, you just crank that bitch on, let it exhaust out
well,
the window.
it
Yeah.
has rooftop AC, but you need hookups to run it all night. Like you need external power to run it all night. So, I mean, it was all right. Like, we love the van. But yeah, when we got down into Texas and Arizona and everything, it was just like, yeah, hotels. Time for hotels.
Yeah.
Florida. And then John and I got COVID and we missed a few shows from that. Yeah. But I mean, that tour was like very long and very like very hard, very hot, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, we had a really, really great time. So,
Well, if you guys are in town April 18th and 19th, come to Lexington for Legalized Lex.
Ooh,
Um, just 2 days of stoner doom bands.
right.
cool.
I think Lopan's there,
Nice.
Horse Horse Burner,
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Temple of the
awesome.
Fuzz
Yeah.
Witch,
I'm surprised we
Astronaut.
didn't cross paths with the horse burner guys at some point last year.
Yeah, they're like
Hash
road dogs.
Yeah.
Astronaut is one of my favorite band names ever, by the way. I just like learned about them like a year or two ago, and I saw that name and I was like, that's like the most genius fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I might be in town. I don't know. That's the school holidays here in Germany. So our kid will I'll either be here or my wife and kid will be with me in America. We'll see. I'm not sure yet.
Well, I'd
So
love to see you guys out at the festival.
yeah, I'd love to
Be a
go.
lot of fun. Um,
Yeah.
maybe we can get you on it next year.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
That would be
we,
cool.
we like to play.
Yes. I like to watch you guys play.
Good.
All right. I know you guys have things to do. I greatly appreciate you both taking time out of your day and night to come hang out and chat and bullshit with me.
Oh, this
Hmm.
is great, Tom. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll see you guys out at shows soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll try to get to Louisville. Okay.
I mean, I'm okay with, dude, I'm okay with Dayton too. Cincinnati, Dayton, Lexington,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to drive.
Uh, we should be somewhere in the area this spring, I think.
All right. Hell
So
yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome,
Well,
brother.
go have yourself a great day, guys.
Hey, you too.
Hey,
Thanks a
you
lot,
too,
Thanks.
brother.
Tom.
You
See ya.
take care.
You too.